Hi everyone, Graham from Evans Central Christmas Lights here. It's Christmas Eve 2016, so I just thought I'd show you a quick behind the scenes tour of this year's show. There's a few little differences between last year's show. Last year was first year using pixels, and last year was using a lot of DC elements. This year I have dumped all of the DC elements, so the old Kmart icicles that were across the front here have gone. There was some strings wrapped around the pole there, they've gone. You can probably notice some new additions already. So I have some Coro or call flute singing faces. Now they tested fine in the workbench originally, but unfortunately Rudolph on the right here is not working in the show, so I'm just leaving him out in the hope that I could get a sequence running, but given that it's Christmas Eve now, he's probably not going to work this year. But Santa definitely does sing, and he works on one of my sequences. New also this year is a new controller. Underneath here is just a Coro box that I made up to help protect it from the weather. And if I look this out of the way, you can see it's nicely hiding all of the cables. This looks a bit messy, but this is the new controller for this year. It's a Falcon board, an F16V2. As you can see, it has 16 outputs there. And so that is running the singing faces. Those singing faces, by the way, are using 12 volt WS2811 modules. It's also running these new stars. There's 4 of those across the front. These are actually Kmart stars that had battery operated lights in them. Took those out and replaced them with 5 volt bullet nodes. So that controller is running that. The controller is also running these spinners, which are the same as the roof outline, which is 12 volt strip WS2811, and it's also running these mini trees. I was going to have 5 but ran out of time, so there's just 3 for now. Again, the old 2811 12 volt. Now, a new element that you probably saw over here is my Matrix P10 panels. There's 25 of them in a 5x5 orientation, held together in a wooden frame and covered with some clear tablecloth, and then wrapped around the back so that no water should be getting in. There's another piece on the back there. I'll put some photos up now. That served me well. However, in the heat in the last couple of days, the frame itself has started to sag. So I'm now noticing a little bit of misalignment in some of the panels. Just needs to be reinforced from the bottom, I think. Another job for next year. So this is the only 240 volt light that I have in the display this year, along with the blow up sander in the corner. The roof line is still the same. I've had a few issues with some breakages in some of the strip, so I've had to replace a couple of pieces, but otherwise it's held up fairly well. And that's pretty much it. Same as last year. The command central, if you like, it's just in this little box with a Raspberry Pi running Falcon Pi Player or Falcon Player, and it's constantly powered and it's constantly connected to my 8-port network switch. So I have one cable coming out of the ceiling, which is my home network. It comes into the switch. The yellow cable on the right there is connected to the Pi, and then the 5 other connections all run out to the different controllers, and that's what runs the whole show. Timer there powers the PSUs, and also, well, that's something new this year, is the FM transmitter from EDM. So I'm broadcasting on that. So I still have over here, excuse the mess in the garage, I still have 12 volt PSU there, and I've just separated it so it doesn't get too hot in the PSU box, but the same J1 Sys P2 controller, 2 outputs, one for the roof and one for the garage outline. You can see all the power injection leads running up onto the roof to do all the different power injection across the roof. And the other P2 is in a separate box here. That's a 5 volt PSU powering the 5 volt nodes in the Coro Merry Christmas sign and the stars as well. So that's pretty much it for this year. Show's run pretty well. I've run out of time to build lots of new sequences, so I'm pretty much rehashed last year's sequences, but to include the new elements. The only new sequence is the singing Santa face. So plans for next year are already ticking away in my head. Mega Tree is definitely on the cards, and possibly some pixel icicles to run all the way across the guttering. If you have any questions at all, feel free to leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Otherwise, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.